Let me welcome you back to the second segment of the show for today. I think I might have said the third segment, but through the second segment of the show for today, and to let you have about 6 or 8 minutes to talk about this organization that you are the founder of, as well as the executive director, and give us some idea in terms of what you expect to accomplish and how that idea came to you, and et cetera, all in 8 minutes.
Yes. Basically, after 9/11, it was a changing factor to a lot of people. It really taught us the essence and the importance of communication. We remember before 9/11, we used to go to churches and colleges and reach out and do interfaith programs. And after 9/11, a lot of members of my community were really afraid of what the consequences would be. But the amusing thing that happened is that we had a lot of cooperation and solidarity from the community, where we had the front door of our Islamic center full of flowers and roses and greeting cards standing by us and acknowledging that we had nothing to do with 9/11. Now, that was the beginning of what made me really think about this project. But really, what brought it up to the time for it to be initiated was in 2008. I was an undergraduate student at Middle Tennessee State University. And we had a class of English literature. And the professor, and this is what I do usually, I always reach out, go to school, and whenever I meet a professor, I give him some information about my background, my history, and this is what I'm used to do. So I gave it to him, and the next class, he said, "Mr. YArafak, can I have a few minutes?" I said, of course. So he started asking me questions, and I answered those questions. I was pleased that he did. Second class, Mr. YArafak, can you got a few more minutes? I said, of course. And basically, every class, we sit down for 5 to 10 minutes to talk about Middle East, religion, and on. I was surprised that in the middle of the midterm exam, he chose one of the topics which we talked about, which was women in Islam. I was so pleased that he did. And I wanted to give the presentation about it, but someone else ended up taking it. I said, well, that is what happened. When the time came for that presentation to take place, the person who took over this topic stood up, but didn't do a good job, basically. And instead of talking about women in Islam, that person talked about women in Saudi Arabia. So the professor said, stop. I mean, I asked you to write a paper about women in Islam, not women in Saudi Arabia. Where you got your information from? He said, from the internet. Well, anything you get from the internet is something that you take as face value. You're a person who's about to graduate, and you need to, exert some more efforts to verify what you get. So he asked the person to rewrite the paper, but he did something that really was the beginning of the idea of Peace Ambassador. He stood up and said, well, first of all, you need to rewrite the topic. Second, for your information, women in Islam were given their rights 1,400 years ago. Rights that only were given to you 60 years ago, and you're still fighting for it. You need to learn to understand and differentiate between what some Muslims do and what their religion teaches. Now, that was very touching to me.